A very good morning, dear students and the viewers. On the behalf of our Department of Electronics, Dindayal Upadhyay, Gorakhpur University, I welcome you all on our YouTube channel based on the lecture series Regulated Power Supply and Amplifiers. In this lecture, I'll be discussing about the introduction and I'll introduce you to the power supply, its basic components, basic parts, and the rectifiers related to it. So let's begin with the lecture. As the name suggests, the power supply and the subject topic name is regulated power supply. So a power supply is simply consists of various electronic components that converts power line into directed voltage as per the requirement. The requirement is that you want to derive some electronic equipments or some electronic devices or some electronic gadgets, whichever you are using in your day-to-day lives. So a power supply is generally converts the power line which comes into your households from the nearby transformer. So it converts the power line voltage into the DC voltage or a directed form or AC form voltage with certain requirement, whichever you want. So a power supply circuit is made up by using up transformer, filter, rectifier, then voltage regulator. So these are the most important components of the power supply. This is how a power supply is built up generally, by using these components. Now in this block diagram, as you can see here, first you have a line supply. A line supply in the household is 220 volt, 50 hertz, and in sinusoidal form, and this is the input of the first unit. The first unit of the power supply is the transformer, the second is rectifier, the third is filter, fourth is IC regulator, and at the last of the IC regulator you have placed your equipment or the load here. So here I have drawn some waveforms also with them. As you can see here, this is the input signal you are feeding at the transformer. Now after the transformer, this could be a step up step down transformer, so we have used here a step down transformer and we have reduced the voltage level here. So the output is a lower amplitude sinusoidal waveform. Then this output of the transformer is the input of the rectifier. Now the function of rectifier is to rectify the AC component of the signal. It generally converts the AC signal into a DC waveform. AC to DC is used by the AC signal converted into a DC signal by using the rectifier. So here you can see in this diagram that the output of the rectifier is only a positive half cycles. You're having a positive half cycles. Now after the rectifier, it has a non-zero average value also. Then this is the input of the filter. Now filter, as the name suggests, it has some filtering action, so it filters the fluctuations or the AC component part of the supply. So this fluctuation has reduced up to a certain level. I was not able to draw it perfectly in a perfectly rippled form, so there has some nonlinear types of diagrams I have drawn. You can reconsider this diagram in your textbooks. And then the next is the IC regulator. So IC regulator regulates this variable signal and provide you a regulated DC line, a constant voltage level at the output to derive the certain equipments. So now we'll consider the first block. The first component of this power supply is the transformer, and you all students are already very familiar to its that is its function. It transforms the electrical voltage level into the different voltage values. It converts the high voltage values to the lower voltage, or it can convert the lower to high values. So this is the circuit diagram of the transformer. This is how a transformer is made up by using the circular windings across the steel core. Now this is steel core. Now there are the two types of winding. First one is the primary winding, and second one is the secondary winding. In the primary winding you have applied the AC input, and in secondary winding you are taking the output. So depending on the number of turns you have applied in its arms, it converts the voltage to a higher value or the lower value depending on the ratio. As you may know that is the turn ratio, right? So you have applied here the AC supply, and this AC supply is nothing but the variable is the changing value. AC has always a changing value, so it first half it is a positive, in the second half it is a negative. So as the current direction changes, the current changes, the due to which the magnetic field the magnetic field passing through the circular winding gets changing, and this moving magnetic field then induced the corresponding magnetic field gets changed here, and that produce the current in the output. So this is how simply a working of due to the mutual inductance between these two coils, we have the secondary output here. So that is the turns ratio, and the turns ratio is equals to the ratio of number of turns on the primary winding and the number of turns you are having on the secondary winding. Now using this turns ratio, you can calculate the primary voltage whichever you are getting, whichever you have applied there, and equals to the turns ratio times of secondary voltage. So here we have applied a 220 volt and we are getting output at 120 voltage. So that was the function of transformer. Now after the transformer we have used a rectifier. Now rectifier, as it is an electrical network which offers a low resistance to the current in one direction but high resistance to the current in opposite direction, is called as rectifier. Or a rectifier is capable of converting sinusoidal input waveform into average zero value into unidirectional waveform with non-zero average component value. So that means rectifier can be defined in two terms. Like in the first we have talked about the rectifier is nothing but is an electrical network with some electronic components. So rectifier is an electrical network in which it provides a low resistance in one direction, high resistance to the other direction. So we all are already aware of the function of diode. The diode which works in forward bias region and the reverse bias region. In the forward bias region it has a very low resistance, and in the reverse bias region it has a very high resistance. So that is the most important component of the rectifier which makes a rectifier functions. So that is the diode, and it is capable of converting this sinusoidal waveform. As you can see here, this is a sinusoidal waveform and it has an average value nearly equal to 0. So let's say it is a 0 origin, so that is the 0. It has the average value 0, and it converts after the rectifier. This waveform converts into a unidirectional waveform with non-zero average value. Now here you will get the non-zero average value of this waveform. So that is the function of a rectifier. Now rectifier are classified generally two types. They are of two types. One is the half wave rectifier and then one is the full wave rectifier. That means which type of waveforms you are getting at the output, that on the basis of they are divided into two, half wave and full wave rectifiers. So this is the circuit diagram of a half wave rectifier. In the circuit of the half wave rectifier, we can see here, this is the transformer. The transformer, we have a AC input in the primary winding of Vp sin omega t. Now due to the mutual inductions between the winding, the secondary voltage which produced at the second input of the rectifier, that is the Vs is equals to Vm sin omega t. It has an amplitude of Vm and sinusoidal in nature, that is the secondary signal voltage signal. Now this has also a current, delivering current passing through this diode. We have placed a diode and the load. So here we can see here, this is the diode voltage, the voltage, maximum voltage across the diode, and the output voltage we are taking across the load. So this is the waveforms at the input, at the output and near the diode. So these waveforms are very important with the circuit diagrams, and this waveform mostly explains the working of half wave rectifier. Now we have considered sinusoidal waveform. Right? In this sinusoidal waveform, we have a signal of amplitude Vm, and this is a continuous sinusoidal waveform. Now when the cycle is from 0 to pi, when the cycle is between 0 to pi, we can see here the signal is positive, right? So when Vs is positive, so there is positive and there you have a negative. So the positive part at the Vs supply will switch on the diode, and then diode will move into the forward bias condition. It has a very low resistance. Since it is a very low resistance, the current will pass through the diode and it will act as a closed switch, right? And the Is is, and then the current Is will pass through it and will produce the output voltage here. So you will get the output voltage. Now the resistance is very small at the forward bias region in the diode. So there is a very less voltage drop, and maximum voltage Vm is nearly equal to Vm you will get at the output, at the load, Vm from 0 to pi. Now what happens when the waveform, the input wave gets changed, the polarity of the input gets changed. The polarity here from pi to 2 pi, the time period when pi to 2 pi, when it gets changed, then this diode gets reverse biased. Now when this diode gets into a reverse bias region, then it offers a very high resistance to the current, very high resistance. So that resistance mostly drops the voltage here and will block the current. So due to which the output at the load, the output at the load is also 0. So from pi to 2 pi, as you can see here, the output is nearly equal to 0. So that is the output, right? That is the 0 voltage. Now when again after 2 pi to 3 pi, the signal is again has changed the polarity, the input signal again has changed the polarity toward the positive of the diode, then this will again produce the output. So this is the function of half wave rectifier. This is the input and this is the output you are getting, right? So here we can see that the average DC value at the load, you are getting the DC voltage, and the DC voltage is the average of the value. The average you can calculate it by using this formula, that is 1 upon 2 pi integration from 0 to 2 pi, the full wave cycle, and voltage times of d alpha. Now this VDC is equals to 1 upon 2 pi. As we have seen here, the signal is only present in the time period of 0 to pi, and between pi to 2 pi it is 0. So we have reduced the integration limit from 0 to pi Vm sin omega t, and we have found the value of Vm upon pi. So 0.318 times of Vm is the DC voltage you are getting at the output, the load. Now regarding to the voltage, DC voltage, you can calculate the DC current which is flowing through the load, that is the DC voltage is divided by the load resistance, and we have obtained the 0.318 Vm upon RL. Now the PDC is the DC power you have obtained at the load. The power DC is the voltage DC times of IDC, and you have the 0.318 Vm times square upon RL. Now the most important part of the half wave rectifier that is generally used to define the performance of the half wave rectifier, that is the peak inverse voltage. Peak inverse voltage means when the diode is in reverse bias conditions, the voltages across the diode is how much. So here we can see that there is a single diode we have used, and due to the single diode, the powers up when the diode is reversed bias, the maximum voltage here is the Vm. So that is in the negative cycle, the Vd has maximum voltage Vm. So that is the peak inverse voltage of the half wave rectifier. Now the root mean square values, they are generally used to calculate the accurate value of the or the effective value of the current. So the effective value of the current can be calculated by the by this formula, that is the RMS value, root mean square value of the current, and you can calculate it by using this formula 1 upon under root of 1 upon t 0 to t I square times of dt. So whatever be the signal of your current waveform, it could be a sinusoidal, it could be a triangular, it could be a rectangular, you can calculate the IRMS value using this formula. So for a sinusoidal waveform, the IRMS value has Im upon under root 2, and for this type of waveform, the IRMS value is equals to Im times of under root k by 3, where the k value is T0 by T. Now T0 by T, you can see here the T0 is the output and the T is the full wave cycle. So the AC values, we have calculated the AC values here. The IRMS is equals to Im by pi, Im by 2 times of equals to 0.5 times of Im, and VRMS is equals to Vm by 2, and AC power across the load is the VRMS RMS 0.5 Vm square by RL. The output voltage, we have observed that the output voltage of the rectifier is composed of two components. One is the DC component and another one is the AC component, and that AC component is generally termed as ripple. So ripple is the mostly used performance parameter of the rectifier. So efficiency is the rectification ratio of the diode of the rectifier, that how much it can rectify the input waveform. So rectification efficiency of the half wave rectifier, as you can put the formula here, PDC over PAC. You can put the previous formula of PDC 0.31 Vm square upon RL here times upon 0.5 Vm square upon RL. So you will get the value of 40.5%. This is the maximum efficiency that half wave rectifier can deliver to you. So some of the performance parameters have been listed here. You can see that this is the form factor which measures the shape of the output voltage, that is the VRMS over the VDC. The value is 1.57. The ripple factor which measures the ripple in the output waveform, that is the VAC upon VDC, and equals to 1.21. The effective component over RMS of the output voltage, you can calculate it. VAC square is equals to VRMS square minus VDC square. Ripple factor and fill factors and the form factor, they are related by this expression, that is the RF is equals to under root of FF square minus 1. This formula has been derived by this, you can take out the value of VDC and divide this divided by VDC. This is divided by VDC square. So you can get the value of FF square minus 1. Now the next one is the transformer utilization factor, and this is defined by the DC power over the input RMS current and voltage value of the secondary transformer. Now after the half wave rectifier, we can also have a full wave rectifier full wave rectifier by using an extra diode with the half wave rectifier circuit. Here you can see that you have used another diode D2 with the circuit, and the transformer, the secondary winding of the transformer have been centrally taped here, and which divided the voltage here Vs into the two halves, and you can get the half wave rectifier circuit over this load, and below this load you can see here this is the secondary second half wave rectifier circuit, and the combination of these two half wave rectifier will produce the full wave rectifier action. So this here you can see in this waveform. Now using this waveform we will see the action of this full wave rectifier, that how it is working. In this waveform you can see that from 0 to pi you have a positive signal. So from 0 to pi, when this is positive here, positive minus. So here you have applied the positive half at this diode and positive half at this diode. So this positive part at the P side of the diode will forward bias this diode D1, and the negative half of this the negative side of at the P side of the diode D2 will reverse bias the diode. So this diode will only conduct in the from 0 to pi region. So the output will produce at the load. This is the I0 current, output current will produce at the load. So you will get the positive half wave output. Now when the signal is from 0 to pi and you having a negative part, so when the signal polarity gets reversed, this is negative, this is positive, this is negative, this is positive. So this negative will reverse bias the diode D1, and this positive half cycle here will forward bias the diode D2. Now in the second cycle from pi to 2 pi, in the negative half cycle, pi to 2 pi, the D2 diode is forward biased. So this diode is forward biased and D1 is reverse biased. So you will get the output from 0 to 2 pi, right? And similarly after this another cycle from 2 pi to 3 pi, D1 will conduct, and from 3 pi to 4 pi only D2 will conduct, right? So the average DC value of the voltage, here we can calculate again the same formula which we have used earlier in the half wave rectifier, that is 1 upon 2 pi from 0 to pi V times of D alpha. VDC is equals to V upon 2 pi, and we have get the value of 0 to pi Vm sin, sorry I have mistakenly not written here the value of 2 pi, right? So that here it should be a 0 to 2 pi. So this value here we will get the twice of Vm upon pi, and the value is 0.6366 times of Vm. Now the peak inverse voltage in this diode, you can see here that you are applying it twice. The voltage appears as 2 times at this side and this side. So here we can see that in the cycles we have the continuous voltage or peak inverse voltage across the diode is minus twice of Vm. So for a full wave rectifier, the effective and RMS current passing through the load is Vrms. Using this again the same formula, we are having the value of Vm by root 2, and Irms is Vm by RL times of root 2. The DC value we have in the earlier slide we have calculated the value of DC voltage. So DC voltage is 0.633 times of Vm upon RL square, and PAC is equals to Vrms times of RMSE 0.707 times square upon RL, and the efficiency here is power DC upon power AC, and that is nearly comes out to be 81%. So the fill factor we have reduced by using the value of Vrms and VDC, and the form factor here we get, that is the 1.1, and ripple factor here we have observed that is the 48.2%. This under root value is up to this one value, so this is mistakenly written here. So the performance of full wave rectifier, we have observed that it significantly improved as compared to the half wave rectifier. However, in the half wave rectifier, the efficiency was limited to 40.5%, but here we are getting the efficiency of the signal converting from AC to DC is this efficiency is higher in case of full wave rectifier.